Yeah, 10-second silence, and then we'll just jump into it.
So we're not going to clap? We don't need to clap? Or
apparently we don't need to clap anymore, right, Bill? Jacob?
No, we clap for these. If we're all doing independent recording, we clap for these. It's just in person. When we're recording on the one device, we don't need to.
Gotcha. All right.
Rather 3, 2. All right. 3, 2, 1. Clap.
Why'd you say clap?
Oh, redo it. All right. Ready? 3, 2, 1.
So bad.
Brother.
Oh my lord.
Brother. Jake.
Karan, can you count us in, but don't say clap?
Jake,
okay?
You missed out. Before we had you on live, me and Pratty would clap, and then 5 seconds later you would just hear, and it was Karan every time.
What up, everyone? It is your boys from Melbourne, and unfortunately, since we are from Melbourne, we are back for yet another edition, a special edition of the official NBA Beancast.
This is a bigger return than like Derrick Rose getting back to the NBA. This is the best return anyone could ask for.
We
disagree. Are back in lockdown, and the case numbers are higher than ever. Gotta love it.
What's happened is, when Derrick Rose came back from his that dreaded ACL injury, and he did his meniscus. That's what's happened with us. So
that's true. We
had lockdown, and we went, okay, this is bad, and then we come good, and it's like, well, we back, and then it's like, no,
but not really.
No, we're not. No, we're not.
No, Bill. That doesn't properly capture it. It's more like Derrick Rose does his ACL, then he comes back and does his Achilles, ACL, PCL, and patella tendon in one go.
Man,
it is an
I feel terrible for this man, Derrick Rose.
All right. Anyway, as you all are more than aware, I hope we have the NBA back within a very small time frame. We are in the teens of days left as of time of this recording. So what we are bringing you today is a rundown of the Eastern Conference, the
contenders and pretenders.
Yeah, we're gonna have a quick squiz at the potential playoff makers. See what's going on down in the bottom end. And then have a look at, obviously, the contenders up the top, the beasts of the East, as ESPN love to call them.
Yes, and unfortunately, just as a disclaimer, we have had video in the past few weeks, but due to some unforeseen technical issues, we haven't really been able to set it up.
Due to some absolute idiot spilling water all over there. We won't talk about it.
This is not permanent. We will be back soon.
Until then, again, we're back on complete blank face, nerve face special edition.
This is a proper throwback.
We still have a quality episode for you guys. We have some very hot, not really hot anymore because everyone seems to have wanted to forget about it, but some news going on. We have a bit of good news and a bit of bad news, and I guess if we have time, we'll talk EPL and AFL before we jump into the contenders and pretenders.
Hey, let's do it.
But to get us started, guys, the past 2 weeks have been rough for the one of the leaders of the Black Lives Matter movement in Steven Jackson. Well, it hasn't been as rough as you would hope, honestly, because what's happened is a NFL player named Deshaun Jackson decided to post something on Instagram supporting Louis Farrakhan. I don't know if I'm pronouncing that right.
Louis Farrakhan.
Farrakhan, yeah.
Yeah, he's a leader of the Nation of Islam, a predominantly black Islamic movement. And yeah, this was a quote that is typically attributed to Louis Farrakhan, but then I think Farrakhan himself has attributed this quote to Hitler as well, but I don't believe Hitler himself has said it.
Yeah. And there was a bit of quite a response to that, and the Eagles immediately, that is Deshaun Jackson's team, immediately forced him to apologize. He apologized, and then
makes sense given the GM of the team and the owner are Jewish.
Yeah. Immediately following that, for some reason, though no one asked for his opinion on the matter, Steven Jackson decides to say, "Hey, you guys are forcing him to be silent. Essentially, completely agreed with Deshaun Jackson's post. Kevin Durant and J.R. Smith also seem to agree with that post. It's been rough. It's been rough to see that. And after the immediate response, Steven Jackson then put out another post saying, "To whom it may concern, your racist pain doesn't hurt more than the next race's pain. Don't act like your hardships or more." Sorry, he says, or more devastating than ours. And you wonder why we're fighting for equality. Common sense ain't common. Truth hurts. Never waste time explaining to people who never supported you anyway. Free game.
My brother. This man, I don't know what to say, except if you're a person of color that at one point finds yourself agreeing with something that Adolf Hitler says about race relations, turn around, you're going the wrong way.
That's about it. That's about it. I mean,
that's
the fact that he's, first of all, he's saying, he's agreeing with the people generally think that this quote is attributed to Hitler, and even if it's not attributed to Hitler, even if it's not Hitler who said it, the fact that it is thought that they think that it's attributed to Hitler, and then agree with it, that on its own is just insane to me.
Yeah, I don't know what it's just. I think it's kind of, it just undermines all the work that the movement has been doing, in my opinion, because if you're going to champion racial equality, you shouldn't be championing your own equality at the expense of another races.
Yeah, I fully agree.
That's really it. I mean, and I really, really am very disappointed with the general response to this. I mean, when Drew Brees when Drew Brees was, disrespecting, talked about the disrespecting the flag business, he wasn't hurting anyone. He was saying the wrong thing, and that's true. But the immediate response to that was everywhere. And yet for this, I haven't seen anything from, like, Shannon Sharp has not said anything about this.
I mean, he did, but like he didn't have the same outrage response that he did when Brees said what he said.
And so I really,
he said Brees should have retired. Sorry, Brad. Continue.
Yeah, no. Like that's why I really, because it seems like a lot of media members seem to be afraid to talk about this because, there's obviously a lot of players who silently agree with it or disagree with it, but they seem to be afraid of the backlash from this. I'm not sure. But
for me, what I think it is I just think the players, as humans in general, they're just more likely to care about a cause if it affects them than if it doesn't.
Yeah, absolutely.
The problem is I don't think that if you're going to champion yourself as a warrior for social justice, please do not pick and choose your causes based on the race of the oppressed. Because at the end of the day,
you just want to be consistent.
Exactly. Because at the end of the day, you're looking for equality. Your overall goal is for racial equality.
It's not for black supremacy or white supremacy or anything.
It's black supremacy is as undesirable of an outcome as white supremacy. We don't want supremacy. We want equality. Because at the end of the day, that's what it's all about, isn't it?
Yeah, and I mean that's why I'm really impressed by people like Stephen A. Smith and Max Kellerman, Rachel Nichols. I can't figure out how to say her name. Romani Jones, Ray.
It's really not that hard.
And I will say, if you are even slightly confused about this topic, Ray Allen. He had a couple of years ago, he visited Auschwitz and he put up on the Players Tribune a massive piece talking about like why he went there, because apparently when he went there, a lot of his fellow players were saying your ancestors would be ashamed of you. If you aren't sure about it, please have a read of that, because that was a fantastic piece and it really, really just helps you understand a wider perspective if you're unsure about it.
Yeah, and I fully agree. I think that piece is more relevant than ever, and there's been a few NFL players that have spoken out against it as well. But yeah, I think I agree. The response has been really disappointing so far.
Yeah, and while we're on a bit of
the lack thereof.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. While we are around that note, just a couple of shout outs. Kyrie Irving is now producing a Breonna Taylor story documentary. Again, this man, when it comes to the racial inequality issues, he's been probably the biggest. Like instead of getting his name out in public, he's just been, saying. I feel like he's been on the right side the entire time. He's not pushing the wrong agenda in regards to this.
No, and I'm fully supportive of whatever Kyrie wants to do with regards to supporting race relations. I think it's good that players are taking a more active role within the community. I just think that, when it comes to this sort of thing, the stance needs to be consistent. Otherwise,
you do look like an idiot as
exactly.
And we've seen how the any other kind of media is willing to pounce upon that when the people that are fighting for this kind of racial equality say these dumb things. It really hurts the cause, because the many people who watch I guess you have to say it, right-wing media will be like, look, they are dumb. We can agree. We can say that, and so we don't have to listen to them.
Yeah,
I forget
agree.
about that. They can just say, they're not even internally consistent in their own morals.
Yeah, exactly.
They don't agree.
Exactly.
They don't even agree on which causes that they want to fight for.
And we do have to remember that there are people out there that obviously are against the movement for whatever obvious idiotic reason that is. And as we've said, that this just gives people reasons to say, well, look like they're stupid, or that they obviously have bad opinions as well. So it's just a bad look. I think we talked about it a bit. It's just a lot to do with being misinformed or just not having enough knowledge, especially for a thing as big as that. I even me and Jacob said, like, this man, does he even know who Hitler is? Like, it's ridiculous, really.
Yeah.
Might not know who Hitler is, but he probably definitely does know who Louis Farrakhan is.
He does. I think he knows who they are now.
You can't not really. By the way, the wrong kind of word bomb came out this week. Did you guys hear about that?
What do you mean the wrong?
Adrian Wojnarowski has been suspended by ESPN after his FU email or tweet to it was an email to Senator Josh Hawley. That is fantastic. I was really hoping that he would have been the one to report that himself. That was.
Can I just say that this is the most coherently written piece of text I've ever seen from Woj?
I think it was really quality, man. I love Woj, man.
It was worth.
I rate that.
I think it was good. I think
fully worth the suspension.
Yeah, it just goes to show you, I think, like how far some people are willing to go to support the changes that we're seeing around the world, and obviously the bigger the personnel, the more cause and effect you can create. I loved it. I love Woj, man. It was a good Woj bomb to wake up to.
It really wasn't. It was front page.
It wasn't quite the Kawhi Leonard and Paul George to the Clippers that we had about a year ago to the day, but it was quite good nonetheless.
That being said, guys, that's just about it for NBA news. Apart from the vlog posts we've seen from the bubble recently, have you guys been keeping track of that?
It looks like the food's fine.
Whatever's
Zion's
on Twitter.
I
did read that they are bringing in some executive chef from wherever such and such, which I think is
so they
based on what we've seen is a good idea.
Yeah, so they're partnered with, I believe, 8 restaurants, and all of them are owned by Rockets owner Tillman Fertitta. Fertitta. I don't know these pronunciations, man.
You are the worst with names, my God.
Hey, at least at least I'm not saying Rudy Gobert or Luka Doncic.
Oh, sorry, Luka. I was waiting for that.
Yeah,
I was waiting for that.
Don't you mean Rudy Gobert?
We just call him yogurt, so it don't matter.
Yogurt.
Rudy Sorbet. But yeah, no. I think the only real meal that I saw that was a little bit dodgy was maybe Troy Daniels. And that's only because there's no protein, but besides that, everything looks fine.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I mean,
I think that one was taken quite a bit out of the like context where you got to, like, everything was bagged. I feel like if it was an actual constructed meal, it would have looked a bit more appealing, I think, as well. Like, but yeah, either way, it all seems to be positive from what I've been seeing on Twitter and stuff. All the players seem to be fairly content with it. Got to remember, a lot of these boys have come from pretty below average socioeconomic places, so a lot of them saying like it's still fairly good. I assume it's only going to get better anyway, especially with the obviously the nutrition and stuff that they're used to having. I can't imagine that the like the team owners, managers, whatever, will allow for below average or below what they're used to level of anything will exist for an extensive period of time anyway. So I think there's still, what are we, 3 weeks away? It's a long time for them to get everything right. And I think that will. So
yeah.
All right. Well,
No, I agree.
Yeah.
I think it's only going to get better.
yeah.
Maybe Doncic will actually drink less Coke this time. Since
Wrong person.
Jokic is the one you're
Jokic.
looking for. It's Jokic.
Oh,
this is brilliant.
Potato.
Our poor editor doesn't know the difference between a basketball and a baseball. Luka Doncic and Nikola Jokic, but here we are.
All right, but I think most of our NBA news is out of the way. Bill, are you completely sure you're not an Essendon fan again?
Oh, Praddy, I would just like to assure you that I definitely am a fan again. Nah, not really. Nah.
That's interesting.
In all honesty, it's the AFL's still a bit on the below par side of things for me. Richmond won today, which is good.
Yes, one of their few
Why
wins.
is that good?
Oh wait, did you notice Essendon is above them on the ladder as well?
Yeah, man, they're killing it. I don't know what the goal is. I stopped supporting them. They're dominating. I'm going to stop supporting the Bucks as well. Going to throw them in the bin. Might have to support the Lakers. Wink, wink.
What are you, Stephen A. Smith?
Please become a Lakers fan.
Mate, if it was 2010, yeah, that Kobe mural hanging up on my wall would be more than abundant, I can assure you. Anyways,
Bring Giannis to LA.
Let's get into it.
So we'll start off. What we'll do is we'll go from the top to the bottom essentially, and we can just say, look, I'll give you a team, and then you just tell me whether you think they're a contender or a pretender, and we can move on from there. Sound simple?
I thought we were going to go the other way.
Yeah, sounds good.
Weren't we? I don't know. I'm happy to do either.
No, I think
we want the
this is what
juicy
we
conversation up first, you know, Bill?
Oh,
Yeah,
true. Keep them drawn in. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like it.
Let's just get the boring crap out of the way.
Don't want to say the Chicago Bulls are a contender off the bat, Praddy? Right.
Well, they're not in playoff contention, so we can move on.
Yeah.
They're not even content. Oh, they're only 3 games back from
but they
number
missed
1 pick sweepstakes.
Karan,
true.
They missed the cutoff.
Yeah, no, he's talking about the lottery. The lottery.
The lottery.
All right.
They're trailing the Caves by 3 games.
They don't get to play anymore. They're only playing their little practice facility games, maybe. But to get things started, the Milwaukee Bucks. Bill, contender or pretender?
I think definitely a pretender for being a pretender. Everybody knows how good they are. I don't think we need to really speak on the top of either conference. It's fairly obvious.
Yeah. Karan, I'm guessing.
Yep, contender.
All right. Yeah.
I mean,
yeah.
I don't like Giannis specifically because of a member we share the podcast with. But
I love it. The mind control I have over all of you, for who I appreciate in the NBA and who I dislike, is just phenomenal. It's like, what they call it? Free rant. That's what it is.
You
Joel
are the
Embiid,
equivalent of a Liverpool supporter
Joel Embiid, brother.
for the Bucks.
Joel
Free
Embiid.
rent?
Oh,
Hey, I don't
Yeah,
support the
anyway,
Bucks. I just like Giannis. What do you mean?
I managed
be a
to.
fool to.
I think I managed to survive despite Bill being a Warriors fan for a while, so that was good.
Hey, once again, I was not a Warriors fan.
You can't hate your own
I just
team.
didn't want LeBron James to win, and the Warriors were constantly kicking the shit out of him. How could I not like them? You mean? Sorry, expletive you mean.
If
Sorry,
Bill
Jacob.
became a Celtics fan, I wouldn't hate the Celtics.
What do you mean? I liked the Celtics when I started watching, but anyways, moving
Jacob,
on.
also, I wanted to ask you, contender or pretender, Milwaukee Bucks, from what you've heard so far?
Nah, give him the buck. Pass them on.
Oh boy. What we'll have to
Joe
do
Rogan's
in
going
an
to eat them.
episode
Joe
when
Rogan's going to eat them. What's the point?
My Lord.
when we're in person again,
Shoot one instead of an elk.
No. When we're in person again, I have a very good idea for to incorporate our editor. We will just get him to try and pronounce several names from the NBA
That I've not heard
by
before.
last names. Yes, correct.
Right.
Yes.
Or EPL team names.
Nice and easy. They are a contender for me.
Kazakhstan Division 1
okay.
soccer team name.
All right, next one.
Yeah, next one on the list is the Toronto Raptors.
Ooh, Kaz, you go first this time.
Contender.
Yeah,
Simple.
I fully agree. I think the loss of Kawhi Leonard is obviously a gaping hole that was left at the end of last season. But I think that boy Pascal Siakam, he's coming up. He's a bad man. Fred VanVleet sort of quietly been going about his business. Has had a fairly good year. Kyle Lowry appearing to be ageless. Touch wood if you're a Raptors fan. Obviously they've got a fairly good spread. Sort of the same as Milwaukee, where there's just a fairly good amount of depth in terms of C and B grade level talent. I think it's a huge benefit for the Raptors, and obviously everyone knows how good Nick Nurse is. Yeah, I definitely think they can win the whole thing. Definitely, Pratty.
Yeah, I'm gonna put them as a contender as well. I think looking at the number one team they would have to match up with in their conference itself, the Bucks. I think, and I don't think it's a hot take to say that the Toronto Raptors bench is probably better than anything the Bucks can put out. Given that, I mean, look, even just having Fred VanVleet there and the fact that they can also throw in a bunch of guys who can suddenly beat the Bucks without half their team, is pretty solid to me. And if the Bucks do end up having to play Giannis for 48 minutes just to beat the Toronto Raptors because their bench is better, then if that becomes a long series, that's going to be a problem for him. So I think there's a chance.
Reminder that the Bucks have the number one rated bench in the league, but that's okay.
It's just a personal feeling, and also,
who the Raptors got off the bench? I can't even think of anybody that's good.
You just mentioned someone. What are you talking about?
Who? What? Freddie? He's not coming off the bench.
My brother.
He's not coming off the bench. There's no way in the world.
You are disrespecting the Raptors.
No, their bench is good. I'm just saying the Bucks bench is
Storm and Norman Powell.
Norman Powell.
Anunoby.
True. But man, George
Patrick
Hill,
McCaw, 3-time NBA champion.
Hey,
Rondo Hollis.
Is he going for 4 in a row? Is that right? He's going for 4 in a row. Is that right?
There's a chance.
I think so.
There's a chance.
No, so he is going for 4 in a row. That's my question. Damn, my boy, Patty McCaw, give him another ring. Who's next? Who's third in the East?
Who's third in the East? We have
my boys.
Karan's team, the Boston Celtics. Karan, I'll let you go first. Contender or pretender?
I'd say we are a low-level contender because I don't think we're consistent enough yet, and I think our roster does have a few holes which would probably preclude us from being real contenders, especially against a supersized team like the Bucks, or even a team like the Raptors where they've got a competent center. We just don't have a big body that we can play down low to match up against someone like Marc Gasol, Joel Embiid, even Giannis, Brook Lopez, Robin Lopez.
Yeah, I agree.
We do have a fantastic rotation of wings. I think Jason Tatum is going to be special. Obviously, like just anyone that watches him play, you can tell that the kid's going to be a superstar. Jaylen Brown, great player. Kemba Walker, great player. Again, I just think that to hit the next level, I think Jason Tatum needs to take the next step, and we need to make a move for a big. So this year,
well, you guys don't think Daniel Tice can beat the Bucks?
No,
he's a good player, but I don't think that he is a championship caliber starting center.
You know, here's what the problem is. I feel like the Bucks in the compared to the rest of the East are just so far ahead of everyone else that, to be perfectly honest, nearly anyone else in the Eastern Conference is a pretender. I don't think anyone really can beat the Bucks.
I don't know about the Raptors.
That.
Just don't have enough. I just don't think the Raptors have enough to beat the Bucks. I mean, if they do this, reseeding could be real interesting. But I sort of agree with Paddy. I have Boston, as harsh as it is. If it's a yes or no for a contender for me, they're not. For all the reasons you said, Kaz, and the fact that they will have to go through Milwaukee. They're just not big enough. They just don't have a bit. Yeah. Who's going to stop like Giannis, Brooke, Robin? Like, even though Robin's old as shit, like he's still going to do that left-handed hook shot over any center on Boston's roster. I think that I'd like to see Danny Ainge be aggressive in the off-season. I feel like this season gone.
That is one thing that he's known for.
Well, I feel like this offseason just gone, they missed the beat. I feel like they really did. Like, they had those 3 picks from the mid-teens to 20s or whatever it was, and I think they missed the beat. Like, sure, they got Romeo Langford, but...
Yeah, I really, really wanted us to get Brandon Clark.
I would have loved to have seen them trade up. Clark. Yeah, I would have loved to have seen him just go, you know what? Like, we already have Kemba, Gordon, Jalen and Jason, like what? Sometimes there's a problem with having too much talent, and we saw Boston have that a few years ago, and now I think that when it's so obvious that Jalen and Jason are quite clearly the ones to build around. I'm not saying trade Kemba Walker, trade Gordon Hayward. That would be absolutely ludicrous. But I'm just saying, like, just capitalize now. Do you know what I mean? Like it's. I feel like it's so everyone knows how hard it is to win a championship. Like I'd definitely be trading picks, trading guys.
Mm-hmm. The problem last season though was that there wasn't really anyone available that we could have gotten which would have addressed our key weaknesses. And trading Gordon Hayward then would have been dumb because we'd have been trading him at the bottom of his value.
It was that guy Prad likes, Anthony Davis is his name. He was available.
Yeah, I mean.
I don't think he was ever really available, let's be honest.
But but again, I don't think that as it stands right now, I don't think we can beat the Bucks. Maybe the Raptors.
I think they can beat the Raptors. I think they definitely can beat the Raptors.
To be a contender, I would say that we need a chance. We need to have a chance to represent the East in the finals, and I don't think that we're just there yet.
Yeah, so, I think to be a contender, I think to be a legitimate contender, it just has to be obvious. Like if we can't come straight out and be like, yeah, they're a contender, then they're clearly missing pieces. At least for Boston, it's pretty obvious what they're missing. Which is, I guess, a good thing, given it's not a big weakness, but it's still there, especially with how big it is
literally a big weakness, Bill.
Yeah, with how big the other or the several top teams are, I think at least for the time being, it's a problem. But obviously that's subject to change. If Golden State was still running the league like they were, we'd probably barely be talking about it, to be honest. But
agree.
The only thing I'll say about Boston is that they didn't really get that chance to really confirm in the regular season whether they could beat the top teams, because a lot of their regular season matchups with the top teams, apart from I think the Raptors maybe, were cut short. Like for example, against the Bucks, they essentially played 2 games, won one, lost the other. So I mean, it could have been interesting either way, but the regular season didn't give us much evidence. It just didn't give us a chance to see evidence both ways, unfortunately.
Dude, have you seen the run-in that we've got?
Man, have you seen the run-in every team's got? It's unreal.
It is brutal.
I love it. It's sick.
Should be good.
What do you have, Praddy? Are they pretenders or contenders?
I think they are. I think I'm going to say they're contenders just because they again, you can't deny the fact that they are, a top 10 offense and defense. They have one of the best coaches in the NBA. They have 4 players who are very talented, like it's probably second or third tier talent.
All-stars, yeah.
And they still have also one of the best defensive guards in the league. Who, while the Bucks don't rely on many guards in general, if that part of their team is probably close to shut down, then that's pretty damn useful. So I think they are contenders. But like Karan said, probably low level. But I will say, out of the other teams in the playoffs, I think they have the best chance of getting to play. Well, they don't even have to go through the Raptors anyway, if we looked at the playoff schedule previously. But if they had to verse any other team, I think they could beat any other team, but the Bucks would be the one team that they would really have trouble with.
Yeah,
because I think
we all agree with that. Yeah,
like Boston had the regular season matchup again, record over the Raptors 2-1, which doesn't really count for much apparently, but still.
I'll be honest with you, I would pick them to beat the Raptors. I would.
Yeah, but I think it would be much less likely that we beat the Bucks and the Raptors beat the Bucks.
Yeah, that's weird as that is. That's my thoughts also.
It's like a rock, paper, scissors situation.
Yeah, I agree.
The Bucks beat both of us though, but yeah, I think the Raptors have a better chance than we do.
All right, moving on. We are past the top 3 teams, guys, but the next team on our list is one of the hard and fast kind of teams is the Miami Heat.
No. I don't see it.
I don't want to be harsh on them because they're quite young. But
hold on. They are one of the oldest teams.
Well, no, I mean their core is.
I know
their core is young. Yeah,
bro. It's like the Bucks are old as well, but then it's like look who they actually play. Like they've got Kyle Korver, bloody Robin Lopez, etc. on the list. The core guys like Tyler Hero, Bam Adebayo, like these guys. They're not old. They're not old.
Dude, that segue was brutal, but no, I know what you mean. The core of the team is. I think they're in a very interesting position right now. I think Jimmy Butler is a really good bridge.
I think they're overachieving, but hats off to them for doing that.
I think that that they could be a contender within like a year or two, but they just basically randomly got Jimmy Butler this season. And while they did do really well at the start of the season, similar to the Pacers, they started off the season really hot, but then they started falling off towards the end.
Oh yeah, they hit the wall.
Yeah, they hit the wall. Like basically their entire all of their rookies that they were so reliant on as well hit the wall.
Yeah, that's my big problem with them is if I come playoffs, if I'm Boston, if I'm Toronto, if I'm Milwaukee, am I actually that worried about Tyler Hero and Kendrick Nunn? Probably not.
What about Duncan Robinson, mate?
I'm worried about we're calling Shamet 40% of Klay Thompson. Duncan Robinson's probably 60% of Klay Thompson. he's a flamethrower, man. But yeah, in all seriousness, it's harsh on them, but they are young. Sorry, let me say this again so Brad doesn't yell at me again. Their core is very young. And that's obviously a testament to them because they are mostly playing the young guys that they're getting the bulk of the minutes. Obviously, Jimmy's the center of things and obviously quite a handy player to have. I think Bam Adebayo as well is really coming along. But yeah, in terms of enough this year with that much talent at the top, I just don't think a team with the talent disparity, like comparing Miami to the other top 5 or 6 teams in the league, I just don't think they even come close, if I'm honest. But yeah, within 2 years maybe.
I think they've been coached very well and they all play really hard, and that's led to a record which probably doesn't quite reflect how good the team itself is.
Yeah.
But full credit to them. They've been great to watch this season.
And you've got to win the games. That's right. Yeah,
they've got a really bright future.
All right. Well, next team on the list is, just going by their record again, is the Indiana Pacers. And straight off, I'm like, I don't think there's much to discuss. They're not even close to a contender.
Not at all.
Miami, past like us, I don't think there's any real.
I said it all year long. Like, if Philly got there, I'm pretty sure Kaz was in the same boat as me, supporting an Eastern Conference team. That if Philly pulled their together, that they would be like, they have as much talent in terms of a starting five as anybody in the league, but they just can't get it together. And unfortunately for them, they have one of the worst road records of any playoff team. And unfortunately for them, the bubble is not in Philadelphia. Therefore,
we were talking about the Pacers, weren't we? Or did we just skip
moved on, didn't we? Yeah, didn't you say we have nothing to talk about?
Just
okay, because I didn't even say their name. I didn't even get to say their name. I thought I was introducing topics. I don't even need to do that anymore.
No. I thought you said we don't need to talk about them. My bad,
one New York Knicks actually has a better away record than the Philadelphia 76ers?
Is that because they've won one away game?
No, so the Knicks are 10-23.
What are the Philly?
The 76ers are 10-24.
What? What the? Nah, that man.
Jacob, just to make that even more unbelievable, let me explain. The Philadelphia 76ers have, 3 first-round picks on their team now?
Yep.
Sorry, 2 number 1 picks.
You mean number ones, yeah.
3 number 1 picks or 2 number 1 picks?
And they traded one.
2. Joel was third overall.
Joel was 3, but then they traded
Markel. They still have.
Who'd they get as well as Joel? Was it Jalil?
Jalil Okafor. He's not on the team anymore, unfortunately, as well. But this team has had a lot of top 5 picks in the last few years. And they were 1 bucket away, or 1 missed shot away from the conference finals for the Eastern Conference last year. And this year they have a worse record than, and we've talked about them more than enough, than the New York Knicks when they're not playing at home. That's how bad this team is when they're not playing at home.
Right.
Yeah, but when they are playing at home, their home record is better than the Milwaukee Bucks.
So that would be really useful, Karan, if they actually had home court advantage.
If the bubble was in Philly, they would probably win it all.
They need fans.
I'm sure Kaz is in full agreement with me here. We ain't mad that Philly are shambolic.
No, I love it.
I'm going to
stuff the Sixers.
I'm going to say they're also pretenders, but I'm going to say that, like, if this break period has somehow transformed everyone completely 180, then maybe there's like the slightest chance, because
I think it will transform them completely 360.
Oh, well, thanks. That'll help a whole lot. That'll help a whole lot.
Exactly.
Joel Embiid is still depressed, and Ben Simmons...
As much as we are hanging it on them, I won't be at all surprised if they somehow beat Miami in the first round or something. Like, because the talent is there.
Not surprised at all.
The talent's there. It's just that I don't know. They're so frustrating. I want to like them as well because I think they have a lot to offer. But at the same time, I hope Miami smash them 4-0 in the first round.
So from this point, we have gotten past all the teams in the Eastern Conference that are locks for the playoffs. The Nets, the Magic, and the Wizards they still have to play their way in. But I will ask you, Jacob, at this point, we've talked about them. Do you have, based on what we said about most of the teams, do you have any dark horse hopes for any of these teams?
This is going to be good. This
is like the octopus picking the
World Cup
for the World Cup.
Yes.
Oh my god, that was unreal for the Knicks to get in.
The Knicks aren't even in contention, my friend, unfortunately.
All right, Jacob.
I don't even know how far along we are.
So all right. So this NBA bubble, they're calling it, right, is essentially that they've made a cutoff for all teams that could make playoffs based on a certain number of games remaining. The Knicks are that bad They didn't make the cutoff.
Damn, that's sad. That's sad.
So the teams you can choose from so far are
better away. So is it teams 7 through 9 that are potentially in contention then?
Yes, that's
from
correct.
East,
7,
yes.
yeah, 7 to 9. Yeah.
Probably maybe the Magic then. I think.
Oh,
I think people. I think less. You guys have had less bad opinions about them than either the Wizards or the Nets.
Yeah,
that's good.
Yeah,
that's
definitely
very middle of the road. They're like the Camry of sports.
You've nailed it. I love it. I love it.
Reasonably priced car.
Camrys.
They are the reasonably priced team of the NBA.
They're all right. Yeah, they're all right. They do.
No, they're more like the Surface books, man.
The what?
I don't know, bro. I think they're more like the Surface books. If we're looking at overall placement.
No, that's definitely the Knicks then.
All right.
So
between Brooklyn, Orlando, and Washington, 2 of them are going to make playoffs. We obviously know Washington need to make up 6 games in. I think they have 9 games.
And then that's happening.
I mean, I think Brooklyn might not win a game.
That's what I was thinking as well.
Serious. And I think, so Kaz, I think you've jumped it. I think that Washington, some way, actually can make it. Because
still, the Wizards have an even worse away record than the Philadelphia 76ers.
This is true, okay. It's a dogfight, but Orlando will finish 7th, I think. They're just like a consistent, like not good, but like a consistent team. They're never really terrible, but they're never great. They just don't really have enough talent to be there yet. I was reading Jonathan Isaac is a chance, all but a very, very small one. Obviously, Markelle started to become a competent basketball player again, which is amazing. But they don't really have enough. But truly, I would love the Nets to lose every game and Washington to somehow make it.
On the note of the Nets, Reddit user Draymond Can't Read decided to put together a post. Again, these names are always fantastic, but he put together a post saying life inside the NBA bubble at 6 a.m. And he's got a line for all of these players, like Rudy Gobert is praying that Donovan Mitchell passes him the ball. But the Brooklyn Nets one was fantastic. The entire Brooklyn Nets are meeting.
Brooklyn were on the cusp of being solid, and then that flat Earth man Kyrie Irving came back, and we all saw the team struggled for whatever reasons, which was really weird because they were dominating when our man Spencer Dinwiddie was leading them.
I think they were just shocked by the truth.
And then obviously now they're in shambles. I'm just looking at their schedule. So they play Orlando, then Washington, then Milwaukee, Boston, Sacramento. So there's maybe a win. There's maybe one win against Sacramento. And then they play, this is rough again, the Clippers, the Magic, and then that's to finish
basically
Portland.
The real decider will be against the other teams competing. So when they play against the Kings and the Magic, that's when they really have their chance to try and make it in, because I don't think they are winning a single other one. And honestly, I doubt they'll beat the Magic.
I don't even reckon...
Bill, if they win 2 games, I think they're getting in over the Wizards.
If they win 1 game, they're getting in. I'm looking at it right now, real quick. Like the Wizards, you got to remember all right, let's assume Brooklyn win 2 games. That puts them to 32. Washington need to win 8, then, which is probably impossible. This is their lineup. They've got Phoenix first, then they've got Brooklyn. So that's where they could obviously pinch a game that would be huge. And then they've got Philly, which are on the road, so that's probably a W to Washington, let's be honest. But then after that, it's rough. They've got the Pels.
Bill.
With young
the other thing
Zion
you have to
on the road.
The other thing you have to remember is that every game here is on the road.
Yeah.
There's no home games here.
What are you talking about? Mickey Mouse, he has home games here.
That's literally it. No one is playing at home. No, the home record, the away record, it doesn't matter anymore.
No, I'm aware.
So
I'm just
the
saying.
away record does. The home record, yeah.
Yeah, no, it's the away record.
Well,
it's just more.
The away
like,
record would matter if there were fans in attendance, but even that doesn't matter anymore.
Well, I don't know because it is different.
Okay, let me ask you this:
it's more like playing a road game. It's more like playing a road game than playing a home game. I think for them.
Did the Philadelphia 76ers beat the Detroit Pistons this year?
I would say probably at home, yes. On the road, I would say probably not.
Because if they can play in Detroit and win, then they probably can win on the road when there's no fans in attendance. Pretty much the same environment simulated.
This is my whole thing with this bubble thing. I think at first, for literally every single team, it's going to feel like a road game. Like, you're staying in hotel. It's not your normal practice facility, blah, 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 blah. But then I think as the days and weeks go by, it will start to feel, more like this is where we're actually playing every week, if that sort of makes sense.
Yeah, I think they just get used to it.
Okay.
Yeah, I think it will feel more like a home court operation later, which is it's going to be weird.
Probably not home court, because with home court you've got all the fans behind you and all the players and even the coaches.
Yeah, maybe not home court. Maybe somewhere between.
Get a huge boost from the players get a huge boost from the fans, but yeah, it'll probably be more like a neutral venue.
So basically, you're like playing in Detroit.
Why would you want to play in Detroit?
I'm telling you, Detroit doesn't have any fans.
Oh, that's rough, man. That's tough. That's an unnecessary stab in the back to your man Derek, but play on.
Yeah, Derek Rose has fans. The Detroit Pistons don't have fans. Okay. Look.
Ooh, all right. I've just finished reading Washington's schedule, and they're not making playoffs. We can move on. They're not making it. They're cooked. They are done.
They're cannon fodder, to be honest.
Completed. Yeah. I'm
telling you, I reckon they only got those the lower tier teams in just for the Western Conference. For the East, it makes no sense.
Well, yeah, the games behind difference is
5.5
greater.
I think it had to be.
But the problem
5.
is, yeah, it was something like that. 9 games left. Yeah, they said, well, realistically, the New York Knicks aren't winning 9 games, let alone 5. So
yeah, the problem is you'd have idiots like the Washington Wizards front office saying, "Oh, we didn't finish the season. We could have made playoffs. You guys, screwed us."
That's true. No, I think they were well within their right. If they actually won a few more games earlier in the year, it actually might have been worth them attending.
It's completely their fault when they could not take advantage of Bradley Beal dropping 2 50-pointers in a row. I mean,
Bradley Beal doesn't help his own cause when he gives up 50 points on the other end, but you know what I mean.
Well, so you can say the same for James Harden, but anyway.
Whoa.
We'll get onto them a bit later.
That's disrespect.
Listen. I'm not trying to be disrespectful.
That's disrespect.
Bro, my goodness.
That's tough.
Damn.
Anyway, so we've gotten through... We have managed this in quality time, guys. We've managed to get through all the teams.
Go through the matchup, the first round. I think it's pretty obvious, right? I don't think anywhere in the East there's a
there's no confusion. There's no
change.
There's no real confusion. No. I think.
I literally think the standings will stay the exact same.
The Magic might jump.
Apart from that, I think the Magic jump the Nets, and then other than that, I think it will remain exactly the same.
But I think the outcome is also going to be identical.
Yeah.
Yes.
I don't think Milwaukee or Toronto have any chance of losing in the first round.
Well, that's the thing. Milwaukee and Toronto essentially get a week off before the second round of the playoffs. I mean, no disrespect, but the Brooklyn Nets lineup, they're going to be reeling out, and the Orlando Magic, especially without.
Hold
Jonathan
on, you have
Isaac,
to remember that. Here's what's really annoying is that John Wall comes out with a statement: "I'm 110%. I'm healthy." And then he's not playing in the bubble.
Yes.
Bruh.
Because he wants
literally makes no sense to
stay
me.
Healthy.
No, he wants to play, clearly. But then the Washington actually have a brain and say, well, we're only going here because for whatever reason they can think of. I can't think of a good one.
Too many free hotel rooms.
It's like if the Sixers said, this time has given Ben Simmons the time to recover. He's now fully healthy, and then he also doesn't play in the bubble because he's still recovering. It's like,
I don't know.
The Sixers aren't a basket case. The Wizards are.
And the fact that the Wizards' chances of making the playoffs are probably the chances of the Knicks' chances of making the playoffs. So,
well, that's the thing. Those chances would go way up if they had John Wall. I would say.
I don't.
They are 100% making it over the Nets if they have John Wall.
Do you mean from the start of the season?
Dude,
from the start of the season,
Brady,
or from
they'd have to win at least 6 games. At least 6 games.
No,
and the
7.
Nets would have to drop.
They'd have
all
to
of
win
them.
7, Kaz. To get above them, they'd have to win 7.
Do they have the head-to-head advantage?
I'd say likely not. No way, Praddy. You really think that the Wizards with John Wall could win 7 of 9 games remaining against top
or at least 6
opposition?
of 9 games?
I don't see it
against
happening.
That lineup of teams, Nah.
Their final leg. All right, I had it here. Where did it go? I had their final few games. Right, have a listen to this. What team are they called again? Washington, OKC, Milwaukee, and Boston to finish. Nah, bruh, they ain't doing a thing. I don't care if they've got John Wall. I don't care if they got Michael Jordan.
Well, talking about if they're playing Philadelphia, that's a free win because they're not playing at home.
That's true.
They're playing against Brooklyn. That's a free win.
Facts.
They're playing against.
Wait, Praddy. You're underestimating something. The Wizards have an even worse away record than the 76ers.
But we've just come to the conclusion that the 76ers are not winning an away game, and this entire thing is away.
Yeah, that's true. They're going.
Yeah, but then the
Wizards are going all the way out. I'm not going to take anything else for an answer.
All right, that's fair. All right, so Washington.
Yes,
Washington make it out of the East, and all right, I like it.
Washington make it out of the East. I've heard enough, brother.
So how many games will Washington beat either LA team in the finals?
Dude, we're bringing it back to Brandon Jennings, man. Wizards in 4.
Oh my. I like
brother.
It. My man. In all seriousness then, presuming the first round is a bit of a cakewalk for Milwaukee and Toronto, I don't think there's any objections to that, save for Prad's obsession with John Wall being able to rescue this Washington.
Obviously he's not. Obviously he's not.
I'm telling you, Tom put him up to this, man.
Yeah, he did.
Tom put him up to this, man.
Shout out young Tomo for being able to willingly support the Washington Wizards. So then I think that the middle of the East matchups going into the first round are quite interesting.
Sixers could genuinely beat us.
Yeah, that's my whole deal, and they're big enough too. That's the thing. I think whoever gets Indiana probably wins.
Well, that'll be Miami most likely.
I don't know, because you got to remember that these are like, I think that either any team in this middle part, in terms of Boston, Miami, I think it can go either way because the schedule is mental.
I'm just gonna say
they could.
This is all I'm gonna say about
they're
that.
Only 2 games clear.
All I'm gonna say about that area is tough. I 100% want to see Miami Heat versus Indiana Pacers. Like that is like a series that I will watch every single game of, just because of the heat and tensions between those two teams. DJ Warren and Jimmy Butler. Yes, that is the matchup I would love to see. And regarding Boston versus Philly, I think that even if the Sixers have the height advantage over, height and strength advantage over Boston, Boston will slap them. Not only because they have a more like their roster is more talented if you go further down the line, but also
depth. Yeah. Well, Philly's bench is the equivalent of the bench in your local park.
That, and I'm taking. I am 100%.
I mean, if the Celtics have better depth than you don't have good depth.
I'm 100% on Brad Stevens over Brett Brown.
I get what Prad means. Praddy means I think they're top 7 is very good. Do Philly even have a 6 and 7? I don't think so.
Do Philly even have a 4 and a 5?
And
whoa. Don't attack Josh Richardson like that, bro.
And yeah, you have to look at the coaching as well, because Brett Brown has all this talent on his team and somehow he can't make it work. And I am 100% banking on Brad Stevens. Hold on. I'm 100% banking on Brad Stevens to take advantage of Ben Simmons standing outside the 3-point line.
Oh, yeah.
Because they are not going to be able to do anything with that.
Yeah, Brad always does love playing against Benny Simmons.
I agree with you, Pratty, because I think that Indiana, Miami, and Boston, Philly, I think they're the 2 best matchups we could get in terms of how they actually match up, number 1. And then number 2 in terms of there's a bit going on between each matchup. Like, obviously, there's the Jimmy Butler and the guy who's not on his level, TJ Warren. What an absolute fool. I think that would be insane. And at the same time, I don't think Indiana are that far off Miami, to be honest. They could pinch a game or 2.
Really does say something about the quality of the Eastern Conference matchups when the thing that you're looking forward to most is a matchup between Jimmy Butler and
hold on, Karan. That's a bit unfair. That's a bit unfair.
Hey, I'm pretty keen to see our boy Jimmy M, Chris Middleton, put up a 30-piece for 4 games in a row against the Brooklyn Nets in about 12 minutes a game. That'll be quite good to watch. But I think in terms of competing, I think it will be really good.
Brady, did you have a disagreement with my previous comment?
Because when you're talking about that first round matchup between the Pacers and the Heat, the reason we're looking forward to it is because of the drama that Jimmy Butler and TJ Warren managed to start. That it's not that no one's looking forward to. Oh, well, look at how Miami's playing this chess game against the Indiana Pacers. No one cares about that. It's not about the quality of the game. It's about what will Jimmy Butler and TJ Warren do to each other in that series.
Yeah, but look at the equivalent Western Conference teams, and you've actually got a reason for the teams to kind of have some beef as well.
Yeah.
TJ Warren and Jimmy Butler. Come on, man.
It was fun.
Come on, man.
I think it will not be very fun after about the second game that Miami have won by 45 points again. And TJ Warren's crying after Jimmy Butler.
The Miami Heat relying on 5 rookies are going to steamroll the Pacers. That still seems like it could be an interesting one.
That, Bill.
I'm taking Jimmy Butler and the third stringers.
That's true.
I'm going to say that
I'm with Pratty though.
He beat a playoff contending Wolves team with third stringers.
I'm with Pratty, man. The entertainment value will be there. I actually think Philly and Boston will be quite an interesting watch.
That'll be a good
quality basketball watch, because there will be actual strategy involving how far away from Ben Simmons his defender will stand.
How worried are you about Joel Embiid in that matchup, Kaz? Yeah, because I agree, because last year there was that guy that's going to be playing the 4 for Philly this year instead.
Yeah, but I'm not worried about that, because Al kind of... See, I hate to put this on Al, but he kind of crowds Joel's space. It's not...
Well, didn't he start coming off the bench?
For Philly. No, but I mean in terms of who's stopping Joel for Boston.
I don't think we're going to really need to stop Joel.
Well, you'll be able to double team him anyway, because I kind of get. We're
not going to have to stop Joel individually. We can
let him get his numbers.
Double team him if Ben Simmons is on the court. I mean, if you play Al, Joel, and Ben Simmons at the same time, the paint is an absolute crap show for the 76ers. And then, we've definitely got the scoring power that the Sixers sort of lack as well, since we've got 4 guys capable of scoring over 20 points per game as well.
I reckon it'll be a very good contest defensively.
Yeah, I agree. I think it'll be a good matchup.
Yeah. I truly think it could go to 7. I don't think it should, but at the same time, I think as crazy as he is, Joel Embiid is more than capable of winning his team a series.
All I'll say is if Kemba Walker is fully healthy, because he was having some weird things going on towards the end of the season.
Yeah, true. Just on
he had
that,
a few injury problems.
If Kemba's
just
healthy,
on that, he's not at full minutes. He's not playing full minutes coming in. They've said so. There's the question mark already.
If Kemba does get healthy, I don't know if he plays himself into shape or whatever it is. I don't think there's a question. But while he's, iffy and he's, dropping 13 points on 4 of 13 shooting, then I think there's
I don't know, because
there's an interesting wrinkle, actually, because we actually play the 76ers better when Kemba sits. Because Kemba is a very small guard and he's a defensive liability.
Yeah, I was just about to say,
like the 76ers.
Yeah.
Marcus Smart is probably in terms of matchups, a better option, but then, he doesn't offer the scoring punch that Kemba does. It'll be interesting to see how it goes in the playoffs as opposed to the regular season, because obviously you want your best players to play in the playoffs, and you'd at least want to see how it goes in the first game or two when you're in the playoffs. But I think it'll be interesting to see how Kemba actually impacts the series.
I think his offensive output
uniquely bad matchup for him.
Yeah, I was just about to say that the Philly size would no doubt, but Brad Stevens has had a long time to think of what to do. I'm sure he'll have something, but
he's
fully
also
agree.
very experienced in scheming for small guards.
Yeah, I think Kemba offers too much offensively for that question to even be there. But obviously, I just think in terms of handling Philly, especially in a 7-game series, or it'll at least go to 5 or 6. I think I can't see Philly not actually playing a decent game once. I think that just in terms of the pure matchups, like defensively, I just think Boston are behind the ball in terms of how they can defend Philly. But obviously, there's only so many things you need to defend from Philly, because they don't do that thing that every other team in the league does, and that's shoot threes. And Korkmaz is not making 8 threes a game, unfortunately, for us viewers.
I think we've gone well over all of these matchups so far. So shall we hit up some weekly malnourishment and look to finish up then?
Yeah,
sounds good.
Happy.
All right.
What you go for, Freddie?
Well, this week...
yeah, true. We don't actually know what's coming because we didn't think we'd have time.
Well, I told you guys what this was several times. I don't know what you're on about.
Oh, wait, no, you are doing that.
Yeah,
Sorry.
I am doing that one that I told you about like 5 times.
Okay. Yes,
guys,
I thought you were going to pull some absolute BS on us.
No. Look, the world is a very confusing place right now. So if you could think of one line from a song that describes the current situation and maybe how you feel about it, what would that line be, and what song is it from? Just so I can listen to it afterwards.
Oh, you just want songs,
basically, but also just to have a laugh about the current situation, just to make it a bit lighter.
Did you have a good song with some good lyrics explaining?
For example, for mine, my line was from All Star by Smash Mouth. The line was, the world's on fire. How about yours?
Oh, true. That's a good one. That's a good one, man. I remember weeks ago when we had this talk about like what kind of, like when we had just been in, I think we'd been in lockdown for maybe a month. And so we were kind of like, yeah, we've all gotten over the bump. Like we're sort of getting used to it. And we're talking about like what kind of music everyone's been listening to. And I was like thinking in my head, I'm like, I've just been listening to like chill out music to not go insane. But now it's like, we're just well beyond that. It's like,
it's like,
in
oh, you think it's okay? No, it's
insane.
trash again.
Yeah.
Jacob, I would like to hear yours on this. I feel like you would have a quality answer for this one, mate.
Yeah. So I was actually thinking about it for a little bit. And I was racking my brain, and then I remembered a chorus of a particular song. It's a little ditty known as No One Survives by Necrocoplicon.
Okay, bro.
Jeez.
Bro.
And
tell us how you really feel.
And the line goes, we used to laugh, we used to cry, now the only thing we do is die.
Damn.
Oh, my goodness.
That is
Bro, mine's not like as I don't even know dark as that. That is.
What you got for us, Bill? What you got
something
for
else.
us?
That's bro. I need to wipe the tears off my face from laughing at this. Mine was I used to be scared of flying. Now I want to fall out of the sky.
Hold on, isn't that basically?
Yes, it is. It is. And it fully encompasses the world we're currently living in. I think it's like there was just so many things that like we could have done, like we could be doing, and then now it's just like there is quite literally nothing to do. I actually got up today and Daz, my stepdad, actually goes to me, "Oh, what are you doing today?" We just both got in the kitchen at the same time to have our morning cuppa. And he goes, what are you doing today? I was like, oh, just going to the pub, gonna go to the footy. And he just laughed because he knew we can't do that.
You can't do anything.
It's
Karan, what have you got for us, mate? I feel like this is gonna be brilliant.
So I don't have enough time to be funny since I literally just realized the topic about 2 minutes ago. But I've been listening to a lot of Dave, an English rapper. You guys should really check him out.
Dave
Yeah, so the lines, I used to wish I was older until the day I got older, and now I'm growing up with a bag full of problems, thinking how do I solve them?
Oh, that's nice.
That's a nice one.
Little rhyme.
Yeah, no, I was just going to say, I think it kind of gets our generation's plight perfectly at this point, to be honest.
Yeah, I'm feeling that. I'm feeling it. Well, that does bring us to the end of our episode. So, guys, if you do have the time, please give us a follow on our Instagram, our YouTube, or our Twitter. Either one works at NBA Beancast. And if you have any ideas for any dark horses, any teams that you reckon could, surprise someone, hit us up on any of those.
If you have any depressing lines.
That too.
From music.
If you have any quality answers for the weekly malnourishment, please hit us up for those.
Hold up, Praddy. Hold up. We didn't have trivia this week.
We didn't have trivia this week. That's right. My apologies.
Bruh, I'm going to have to find some real quick. We can't go a whole episode without trivia, can we?
I can give you a...
Can we really?
We can't go 2 episodes without trivia.
I've got one already. I've got that many, what they called, Kaz, them JPEGs in the... In the memory bank. All right. Field goal percentage by quarter. This is for a certain player this season. Okay. First quarter, 21.4%. Second quarter, 48.1%. So it's quite a big turnaround. Third quarter, 43.8%. And sit down, hold the chair. Fourth quarter, 66.7%.
Chris Paul.
Negative. Very good guess
Damn.
there. I'd assume CP's would be fairly similar because of his fourth quarter shenanigans that he's been putting on, but that is not correct.
All right, so this is a positive stat. So
it's not LeBron.
It's not LeBron James.
How's it a positive stat at 21% in the first
Because it means he's clutch. LeBron does...
I guess.
But then the reason that he needs to be clutch is because he's hitting 21% of his shots in the first quarter.
That's exactly. Oh, yeah, it's genius. That is genius.
Is he a high volume shooter?
Oh, wait, hold on. Kawhi Leonard.
All right, hold on. Oh, very good guess, but no. Kawhi usually starts off like a...
No, because I remember he had that one...
Kawhi's
bend
not
in his leg.
useless in the first
I remember
quarter.
he had a game where he was like one of 15.
Yeah, but that's one game.
Probably
it was
one
like
game.
true. Yeah, come on. Yeah, we're talking about Kawhi. Damn.
Fourth quarter antics.
Not Kawhi.
So is he a high volume shooter? Does he score a lot?
Yeah. Yes.
But shooter. Is he a shooter?
Define score a lot. I would say above. He's comfortably above 20 PPGs.
Oh,
yes.
wait. If it's another, that's what I was thinking.
Boy, it is Russell Westbrook.
It's got to be. That's why I was asking if he's a shooter. Is he a shooter? Really he's not a shooter.
No, he's not a shooter. He is not a shooter.
He's a mid-range shooter.
Within the arc, he is a shooter. Outside the range, he is outside the 3-point range.
All right, hold up. Just because I've stumbled upon a photo that's next to this one in my phone. Magic's tweet when Avery Bradley opted out was, I quote, "The Lakers losing Avery Bradley is a tough loss and will make it more difficult for them to win the NBA championship." So, boys, we're gonna play some futuristic trivia. What will be Magic Johnson's next tweet?
This this championship will be a competitive series.
Okay.
I got one.
That's so bad, Patty. That is probably right.
I got one. The Orlando Magic going down 3-0 to the Toronto Raptors will make it a little bit more difficult for them to win the series.
Jacob, just imagine the most obvious thing you can say and think about the NBA and suggest that. That's literally how you make a Magic Johnson tweet.
Well, he was the guy who was really fond of emojis, wasn't he?
No, that's LeBron James.
No, that's LeBron.
Wait, no?
Oh,
sorry. No, I went before I'd heard the emojis bit. Yeah, no, he's very fond of making extremely obvious statements. Not emojis.
Extremely obvious statements.
An exclamation marks too. He loves an exclamation mark.
Yeah, he loves an exclamation mark.
It's hot here in Florida.
There we go! Bruh, wait, can that please be the name of the episode? All right, boys, we're going to wrap it up as we won't be able to contain ourselves for the following 5 minutes.
All right, guys, stay safe. And did you know that the man who invented cup noodles thought he could end world hunger and bring about world peace?
Damn.
See you guys.
What a fool.
Have a good one.
Take care, everyone.